What is up, everybody? It is Lo, your host, and we are back with the full Vols ATB crew. I think it's been quite some time since we've all gotten together. We got Brando, Alex, and Drew, and myself. And starting off, we did have a recruit lined up to come on. If you didn't see our tweet, we had to reschedule that to next week. He had something come up last minute. So if you were looking out for that, it is not canceled. It is just rescheduled. So be sure to tune in next week for that. But we still have a lot of content to cover. So we're going to start out, I suppose, with Arkansas. Vols had a wild day this past Saturday in Knoxville. Ended up barely beating the Razorbacks 78-74 to stay undefeated in TBA this season. Awesome job. Let's hear everyone's first thoughts, starting with Brando.
It was just way too close. I think we can all agree that was just awful. Like, having a 24-point lead at one point after halftime, going drastically down and having to hit 2 to 3, clutch free throws in the end with Vescovi and Zakai, just way too close. But all in all, we stay undefeated at home, got the win. I feel like the crowd played a major factor. They were rowdy from the first media timeout, with the recruits there. So really big win. I feel like it gets us ready for the tournament play, but it was way too close. And, we got to fix that before playing in the SEC tournament.
Speaking of the undefeated home record, I do owe somebody a live gritty on the show tonight. So y'all hold me to that. But yeah, Brando, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That from what the first half showed, I really didn't want to see the second half, and we kind of knew it was going to happen because with the way that we were shooting the ball and just playing just in general, you can't maintain that, or you either don't maintain it or you just never lose a game ever again. Because at one point we were shooting 83% from three in the first half. But I mean, all in all, I still, obviously we take the win, and like you said, great crowd, sold out crowd. We ended up shooting 46% from the field, 67% from three, 67% from the free throw line. I think our biggest issue came when we gave up 16 offensive rebounds, but again, still had enough to get the win. Kennedy Chandler, 5 for 6 from three, started off 5 for 5. Santee was 3 for 4. Ziegler had 13, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. That always impresses me when he starts getting up into 5, 6, 7, 8 rebounds a game. And then Josiah played incredible. 12 points, 4 of 8 shooting, 2 for 3 from three, 2 free throws, 7 assists and 7 rebounds. It's been great just watching him turn it around this season because I know he did hit that bad stretch early on, but man, he really will carry us as far as he can. So just great to see him playing well, great to see the boys playing well, and just finishing out undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, I think that first half was probably the best half of basketball I think Tennessee's played all year. And I think a lot of us could agree that second half may have been one of the worst, if not the worst half that we played. But, only 27 points that were scored in that second half, which was very, very concerning. But regardless, still got a win over a really good Arkansas team. Undefeated at home for the first time since 2018-2019 season. Fourth time since 1975. So, impressive feat, and finish second place in the SEC, given the circumstances that we were in to start off the conference year, I think is like an incredible achievement for this team. And I'm excited for this tournament.
I fully agree. So I somehow weaseled my way back into TBA for another huge game. But I can honestly say that I was just nervous from the whole start all the way through the entire game. Like when we were up by as much as 24 points, and I didn't even feel comfortable for a split second. Like the crowd also got really quiet, like everyone was comfortable, and I was like, I don't know what the hell y'all are sitting here for because something is about to happen. It's not going to be pretty. Obviously the threes were dropping early and really nice, but I just knew something was going to happen. And sure enough, we had all of that foul trouble again. We had it the first time against Arkansas, and then this time, 3 starters in foul trouble with Euros, Casey, and James, and then also had Folky in foul trouble off the bench. I mean, it was so concerning, and I just don't understand how Arkansas has pushed us to the limit twice with the fouls. I don't understand that. But my biggest takeaway, 17 turnovers again, like just sloppy. It just got so sloppy and out of control. And the other thing, I guess, that really surprised me was Kennedy Chandler. He had 15 points, but all of his points were threes. If I would have never expected that. Like, I'm not complaining about it. It was just so shocking to me. Even at the game, I didn't realize that. But obviously, his foul shots need some assistance because.
Oh my God!
I don't think just like John Fulkerson. I don't think there's any fixing Kennedy's foul shots this year. It's kind of something that needs more.
Dude, he airballed one.
Yeah, it's awful, man.
I'm not gonna lie. So one of my patients actually saw him after a game like a couple weeks ago and said he was wearing glasses and he was like unrecognizable. So then after this past Saturday, she was like, "Man, do you think that like he just couldn't see? Like he wasn't wearing glasses. Maybe he didn't have contacts in." I was like
that's weird if he's like sitting right there and like he's pulling up and moving a lot, doesn't really see the basket, like it doesn't affect him. But when you're shooting a free throw, you have to stare at it for so long, it's like a mental thing.
I thought
that's one thing I don't understand. The fact that he can train a 30 or 35 corner, but he airballs a free throw. Like, I love it. He's one of the best point guards we've had in quite some time, but good Lord, man. Like, I mean, it's just inexcusable.
Oh man, I don't know what the deal is, but I guess that Georgia coach's pointers didn't help out very much.
He's also fired. He don't need to be talking us. He's looking for a job.
He also lost his job.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that is true. He did get fired.
Exactly. He's probably asking Kennedy if there were any open spots on our staff.
Is there an assistant?
Hey, y'all got a seat.
Oh my God. Let's see. Oh, we also predicted Ziegler would have a really good game and bounce back. I would give him a shout out. 13 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds for the little guy. Just impressive in 29 minutes off the bench. I feel like, especially with the foul trouble we were in, he really was a huge presence once again that we had to depend on when our starters were out. So I love to see him do well. Obviously a fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
Hey, shout out.
It's always good to see him have great.
Oh, go ahead, Drew. Sorry.
It's always great to see great performances like that. I do have to say though, when we had that with 1 minute left in the game and we had 3 guys on the court with 4 fouls, the nervousness that I was like, I mean, I thought like it was a disaster waiting to happen. You know what I mean? Like.
I feel bad for Folky in that situation because he had those 4 fouls early in the second half, last game of TBA, and it kind of got ruined by those fouls. Like, it wasn't like he was, like a game factor anyway, but just seeing the minutes kind of get taken away by foul trouble kind of sucked. But for Zakai to bounce back after everything that happened to him and his family was huge. He had this game-winning free throws. He kind of sealed the deal, kind of a perfect ending to the story to kind of wrap it up and, get it, kind of that fairy tale ending. So I was really happy to see that. But Kennedy Chandler playing good basketball. I'll be, interested to see if he'll come back next year or not. Still have to look forward to the tournament. But just happy that they pulled it off. There was a stat that I posted on my Vols Scoops Instagram. I'm going to try to find it real quick. It was something along the lines that Tennessee now at home, they finished with single-digit losses for the 4th time in 5 seasons. They're like the only school to do that in the nation that can claim that. So the home crowd advantage that plays into effect at TBA is crazy, and just showing out. Really happy with the team.
It also just gives you chills when Ziegler entered the game for the first time, and that crowd went crazy. You could hear him on TV. They all standing up, giving a standing ovation, and then he acknowledges us back. Like that's just love, and there's nothing more important than that. That not only do we love him, but he loves us back just as equally. Even I feel like tragic circumstances aside, I feel like that love would still be there and would still be real. But it's just like, man, how fast did we blow up that GoFundMe? And also, I will shout out other SEC team fans. they were catching on too, and they were helping get the word across. So shout out to everybody else. We do appreciate that for sure. I'm sure he does as well. But it was just it's so fun to see Tennessee as a fan base come around and support players in times of need. It's incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to go back, and I literally, Brando just mentioned it, and then I can't even remember what was said. Oh, it was about Kenny Chandler. Do you guys honestly think that he's really going to leave next year? Because when I'm looking at some of the draft talent in this class, I don't know about how ready he is. That could just be personal opinion.
I mean, I heard some local radio ramblings about it, and Kennedy Chandler's current board placement, they kind of see him as like a late first round or maybe first pick of the second round kind of talent right now. And a lot of that has to do with him getting, started late, in the season, having, offensive trouble driving and getting used to the speed. And obviously his free throw issue, you can't be a point guard in the NBA and shoot, 60-something% ball and free throws in the NBA, You don't want to go out there being like a Marco Fultz, someone had it in high school and college and just turned to nothing. So I think it'd be smart for him to come back. If Spire just hit him up and was like, hey, we'll cut you some money out of the fund if you want to come back, work on your craft and get a better draft score, help each other out and, come back next year. Obviously, he has a lot to think about. A guy that I compare him to is Ja Morant, who blew up in the tournament and had his whole stock rise because of the tournament. So if he goes off in the SEC tourney and the March Madness and we do go far, I can see him leaving. But other than that, he needs to stay one more year in my opinion.
One thing I always think about is just like Brando said, it really comes down to position in the draft, because obviously the higher you go, the more money you get, and everybody's got a price tag. As much as he may love it here and he loves playing for the Vols and playing for Coach Barnes, like, you can't turn down money when it's there because you really only guaranteed it at one time. So if the money's there, then absolutely go for it, and we wish you nothing but the best. But would I love to see him back? Absolutely. I'd love to see him for 4 years. Is it realistic? No, but I would love it. But yeah, I think I didn't know he fell that far, because at first, initially before the season, he was projected mid-lottery, about that 10 to 15 spot. He's falling closer to the end of the first round, then he might really consider more than he was initially.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely struggled offensively in the start of the season for sure, but over the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's really picked up his game, and I think he's averaging over 15 or 16 points a game now in the last month. But the way I look at it is, like, if, we both knew that Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer weren't ready either, and those guys wound up being first-round draft picks. And if you're in Kennedy Chandler's situation, I think he's way more ready than Springer or Keon were last year, especially. He's at the end of the day, like, NBA drafts guys not necessarily based on their stats, on their potential. And we both know, that all of us know actually, that Kennedy Chandler has enormous potential and could be, certainly has a talent to be an NBA starter. So I'd love for him to come back next year. I think it'd be the smarter move, but it's kind of like what Alex said. You're only guaranteed once in a lifetime to get that type of money, and you gotta go get that back. I mean, you just gotta get that back. So
I like it. I would personally, if I was choosing right now, I would say, he might stay another year, but I fully agree. It just depends on the rest of the season. I know I'm kind of going a little bit off topic, but I've had some people ask me, and I also don't know the answer. Brenda may know this the most out of anybody, but anyone who knows, with these NLI deals, are they like binding? For example, do they have to like sign stuff? Is it a year? Is it a season? Could it extend longer? What is the deal with some of those, if you can elaborate?
So for like recruits like a Kennedy Chandler, I would guess it's all right now. They would probably have a set of events that they would do during the season for like, a certain income, and after the season they can recuperate that. I know during the football season, there was a lot of like Tyler Barron and Joe Milton doing like radio shows and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to be doing it next year, just a 1 year thing. So it's kind of your personal choice. If they want to try to lock him down for another year, it doesn't have to probably be events thing. They could just release some merchandise for Kennedy Chandler or some kind of new shoe, or, with NIL, there's a law going up for voting that soon that in the state of Tennessee, they might be the second state after California to be able to have connections with their state and school. So if you have the state and the school, and Tennessee being able to talk to Spire personally, and what they want to do, like I feel like that makes Tennessee a much more notable destination, like NIL wise, especially with basketball and current like recruits wanting to leave and come back with like the transfer portal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Do y'all have anything to add to that?
Hey, I go to Brando for my NIL updates. You hearing it firsthand like I am.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy. I got off topic, but in my opinion, a win was a win. I was terrified we were going to lose that whole game from start to finish, and we somehow pulled it out. So that was good. Does anyone have any final thoughts on the Arkansas game?
One last little fun fact: we actually led wire to wire that game, so Arkansas never had the win. We took the lead on some free throws early, went up 2-0. Then they hit one, and then we hit another bucket, and it was all Vols the rest of the way. So that's also very tough to do. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's very true. I didn't realize that sitting there live, freaking out. So next thing is SEC tournament, which has started, right?
It's starting probably as we speak right now. Yeah, there's 2 games going on.
So let's talk some about that. We ended up getting the 2 seed right behind Auburn. I feel I like our placement. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I absolutely love our placement. Being able to get the 2 seed, I kind of prefer it up than being in the same thing as Kentucky than Auburn. And when they're getting hot, I've been taking some L's, and it's going to be on a neutral court. I'm really happy that we play the winner of South Carolina and Mississippi State, and they can just go on and play. That game is supposed to be Thursday, so we'll get a day. They get a day. Have to play 2 games back to back. We have some rest. Our guys all healthy, which is kind of key. As we mentioned, Zakai's been playing kind of banged up. All the guys been playing banged up. Folky coming back from that hip pointer, so I feel like it's key to get some rest and then have an opponent you should go out there and beat. With either team that does win, you should go out there and beat that team in Tampa. I think we'll travel well, probably better than other schools in the SEC. So ready for a good environment and just, get ready and expect to go play Kentucky and try to win an SEC tournament.
Obviously, the higher the seed, the better. That can only help you going forward because it makes your path easier. But I will say I'm not super thrilled about being on the same side as Kentucky. But, I mean, again, the top 4 teams in the SEC are all elite. So really, you couldn't run away from any of them if you wanted to. But the one thing that I think about when I think about the tournament is it's kind of giving off the 2019 SEC tournament vibes, where we meet up with Kentucky in the semis again after a season where we got blown out on the road at their place, but then we blew them out at home. So again, I'm just kind of going in with let's see how this first game goes, and then we'll go from there. But still, another interesting thing is that it's not in Nashville. So Brando is saying that we travel well, and I do trust us to travel well, but it's a lot easier going from Knox to Nash than it is Knox to Tampa. So, but again, that also is kind of out of the way for everybody. So again, it's a wait and see thing. Just kind of want to see how we come out in that first round. So after that, I probably have a better idea what's going on.
I'd actually argue that we have the best draw out of any of the top 4 seeds in this tournament, because when you have to think about it, Kentucky has to play Alabama in the quarterfinals, which you never know which Alabama team you're going to get. You're either going to get the team that lost to Georgia, or you're going to get the team that beat Gonzaga early in the season. And they're a dangerous team. And in a way, I kind of hope we play Kentucky instead of Alabama if possible in that semifinals. But Arkansas's got LSU, which is a really, really tough game as well that they'll play in the quarterfinals. And when you're talking about Auburn has either Florida or A&M, which seems a little bit more favorable, but we also got to remember that Florida also beat Auburn this year as well. So, considering we either face Mississippi State or South Carolina in our quarterfinals where, we came back and I think we wound up beating Mississippi State by double digits at home. I know the game was close, and we wound up beating South Carolina by almost 30 points at their place as well. I think it's a really favorable draw, and, it's just one of those things where you can have a really hot performance Friday night, and you can carry that on throughout the entire tournament. And so I think it's a really good position that we're at. I mean, obviously, higher seed the better, but given the circumstances, I'd rather play Mississippi State or South Carolina in that quarterfinals any day of the week over LSU and Alabama easily.
I'm with you 100%, Drew. I definitely thought we had the best chance of getting to the finals at this 2 seed. There was no other pathway for me that seemed better. But one thing, I don't know about us traveling well. I feel kind of concerned about not necessarily our first game. Obviously, we got to win to keep advancing, but I am not so sure about the whole time.
I'm going to actually scratch my statement because I didn't realize, it costs money to travel and, people ain't going to pay that right now.
So, I know you're not talking about them gas prices going up.
Hey, people not going to travel from Knoxville to Tampa and drive all the way down there for that, buddy. That's just crucial.
No,
I forgot
sir.
about that. I'll support from my couch.
It's true. And then on top of that, all these flights are getting canceled. So you can't even book a flight to go. No, I would hope that Vols would travel, but I really don't know. It's just.
Well, I mean, if we're worried about us traveling, I worry about schools like, Ole Miss and Mississippi State because they're not making it out there. It's going to be like a Georgia or Missouri home game. It's 2,000 people or less. It's just,
or I mean, even Kentucky fans. I know Kentucky fans travel well, but that's a far drive from Lexington.
Yeah, you got to move it back to Nashville. There's just no reasonable reason not to.
You might as well just have the conference tournament like in Puerto Rico or something at this point. Like Tampa is just such an inconvenient place for everyone.
I mean,
there's one person who is very convenient.
Well, except for you, obviously. But.
And it is this one.
Yeah, it's honestly a terrible choice. It really makes no sense.
No one's from Tampa.
It helps 0% of the SEC out.
You just put it in like Charlotte or something. Then it's no advantage, really.
Hey,
Fun
or
fact,
hear me out.
Last time we played an SEC tournament in Tampa, we made the SEC tournament final, but we lost to Mississippi State, though. So I mean, hopefully we can turn that trend around. But
Wow. Okay. Well, does anyone have an all-star for the SEC tournament for the Vols? Do we think someone's really going to break out and shine?
Yeah, I hinted at it earlier. Kennedy Chandler is going to be this year's John Morant. Just, I feel like it's his time. As Drew said earlier, his numbers the last like 5-10 games improving dramatically. He's finally, getting the ball vision on court. Even if he can't hit his free throws, he's, being a good teammate, a good team leader. And I think he's going to be able to, take control of this team with, Josiah and everyone else stepping up. You have Zakai in your back pocket. There's no reason, we shouldn't be able to go far if we can get just, decent down low play from all three. You don't need one guy. You don't need Folky to be there. You don't need Euros. If you can just have everyone do their part, I can see this team, going really far. But it all starts with Kennedy, in my opinion, and I think it's kind of his moment.
I'll say Triple J, just because of what I was referencing earlier. I think that Kennedy and Santee and Zakai are pretty consistent with how they play. You kind of know what you're going to get out of them day in and day out. Not to say that Josiah is inconsistent, but just with how well he's been playing lately, I truly think he unlocks a different game when he's playing as well as he is. If he can average something near 12, 7, and 7 for the rest of the tournament and into the NCAA tournament, I like our chances against anybody because he's an elite defender, can legitimately guard 1 through 5, maybe 1 through 4, but still he's got versatility on defense, and he's got an offensive game where he's finding a jumper again. So I think we go as Josiah goes.
I think Triple J is a great pick, but I'm gonna have to go with Vescovi, man. Like, I really think Vescovi is gonna really light it up in this tournament. I think a lot of people forget how much he's improved defensively this year, and he's he's got ice in his veins when it comes down to shooting free throws under 2 minutes left. I think there's a crazy stat. He's shooting 89% from the field within less than 2 minutes left in the game. It's just,
yeah.
And I feel like if there's any guy out there that you can rely on right now, Triple J's been playing lights out. Kennedy Chandler's been incredible the last few weeks, but I feel like if you really want that one guy that can really get you that win the last second, I'd go with Vescovi. But I'm gonna go with a hot take right here. Euro's just going to get a double-double in the semifinal against Kentucky or Alabama and put us in the final on Sunday. It's going to happen, all right?
That is a hot take.
I'd lean more Jonas or Huntley Hatfield just because they're like AAU history and being able to play in tournaments. But
True.
Euros.
Hey, you gotta go with the hottest hot take. I mean, I was either going to say that or Brock Jancic was going to make an impact in this tournament. So
I'm not trying to.
As long as Euros doesn't go out there and Omar Payne some guy, I'm cool with it.
True.
Don't go out there and elbow somebody in the face and get suspended and then we have to apologize and that's all I ask.
I love everyone's picks. I agree with Vescovi. He was my pick for sure. And everyone, he's so consistent that he doesn't get the credit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look, sometimes I'm just looking up stats. I'm like, damn, another 15, another 15, another 15. Like, that's a shit ton of points. Like, he's the most consistent player, in my opinion, on our squad. And his defense and his size. I mean, you remember how much muscle mass he's put on from last season to this season? And he's in freaking shape. Like, his ass is all over that court. It doesn't matter. The amount of minutes he's putting in is just ungodly. Like, I think he is going to be kind of the superstar in this tournament. Now, and I don't know if it's just – the thing is, the team has to all play united, but sometimes I will say when he has really good games, it's more just him nailing his shots and not necessarily like looking for everyone else. So I feel like when he tries to get too creative and make the assists is when we get a lot of turnovers. So I think he'll like shine individually, but I don't think he's going to be the one to like get everyone on their best game.
Yeah.
I guess I'll say.
I'm going to give a shout out to Vescovi too. Billy on Twitter, I forgot one of the dudes that does the stats on Twitter, Billy, he put a post out about Vescovi having the highest 3-point percentage, and it's like not even close. I think he like has like 60 more attempts and like a higher percentage than like 2 through 10. Just absolutely like shooting lights out. Whenever he's there, he's there. Besides the Arkansas game when they got in his head a little, other than that, he hasn't had a performance where he's really just disappeared. So I do think he'll be key. And, just having all three of our guard play, it's like one of the first times that we have a triple head go at guard play going into tournament time. And I want to see how it's going to be this year. I'm not going to get my hopes too high. I'm not, claiming an Elite Eight or a Final Four, nothing. But, guard play is key. Speed is key. And I feel like we have that.
Well, I think you raised a good point that, like, Santi's so consistent that we just, like, almost don't take notice. Because I'll even admit that when the awards came out, I was like, oh, he got first team. Like, that's good. But like, let me take a look at it. So then I went and looked at his stats, and I was like, you know what? Like, he's absolutely deserving because he's shooting like 42, 43% from three, like he's saying, Brando.
Yeah, disgusting.
He gets 15 a game, and he does have his big shots, but it's almost like anytime he gets his feet set and lines it up, you just expect him to knock it down and then just go back on defense. So shout out him for getting first team. Shout out Chandler and Ziegler for all freshmen and second and defensive team respectively. But you're absolutely right. That did kind of surprise me. But then when you look at it, you're like, no, he's absolutely deserving. So.
Yeah, he 100% is. And I think, even nationally, not just us as fans, but nationally, like no one ever really gives him any credit. So I was happy to see him make that as well. Definitely deserved, like you said.
People were furious that the Vescovi, Ziegler, and Chandler all got appearances in the list. I saw some Kentucky and Auburn fans, of course, the two teams that we trounced at home, getting in their feelings about Vescovi, being at the top, one of the top point guards. He earned it. Stats don't lie, numbers don't lie. And, he's out here balling. It's just crazy what Vescovi, when he had his blonde hair, what he's turned to now. He's like a little Messiah Super Saiyan. It's kind of slick. Kind of like it.
Oh, yeah.
I always wondered who did his hair every time.
They deserve a raise.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, it was always fresh to death, but like we said, he deserves it. Who is playing tonight?
Right now, it is Ole Miss and South.
Mizzou.
Ole Miss and Mizzou and Vanderbilt and Georgia.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mizzou was up 15 on Ole Miss a minute ago.
The con zone.
You know, I feel like you have to really, really love college basketball to watch those two games.
To watch those two games? Yeah, there's no way. You know what? I'm going to go to work tomorrow, and the dude that I do stock with is going to talk to me about Vanderbilt basketball. I'm going to have no idea what to talk about besides,
like
the dude that's the son of Scottie Pippen.
Like, I love college basketball, but, man, those Wednesday night SEC tournament games are the worst basketball games that you could watch. I mean,
not only are you in Tampa, but you're having a terrible draw at that. That's what I'm saying. There's,
my God.
There has to be less than 1,000 people there. There's no way.
So Ole Miss and Mizzou went final. Mizzou wins by 12. So they move on to get LSU, I think.
Yeah,
LSU tomorrow.
Oh God, they're gonna have fun. Will Wade and I heard a rumor that I don't know if y'all saw the allegations against Will Wade. They finally came out. I heard a rumor with the statements that Will Wade might not coach the SEC tourney. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. But
that's fake news.
That's a fake news.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Like some bozo from LSU.
Okay, well, even if it's not true, how is this man openly, blatantly, committing these acts and saying it on wiretap? People have done less and went down for worse, and this man 6 years later, decades time.
Well, you also got to remember now, though, that was bad what he said then, but with the offers and everything, we're paying kids now 6-7 figures to play football and basketball now, which, I don't know how you can convict him now, at least, of any wrongdoing when, Spire just casually, we're dropping 7 figures on his hooker. So
put a G-Wagon out there for official visits.
Hey, exactly. Technically, it was still legal at the time if they wanted to, and that's what I think it boils down to is that the NCAA just don't care. Because
it's up to them, if they want to have,
if they don't want to pursue it, then they're just gonna let that die.
Are they gonna have one final power trip?
But think about it if that was us, right?
Oh, they're fucking.
Can you imagine how pissed off this fan base would be if something like that happened? You're talking about a Roane County rage, Farragut furious, Powell pissed off, anything you could possibly imagine. They would be so pissed if we got our coach fired for something that's already illegal now. Honestly,
that's what we did though in football.
True.
Yeah, but
we just went 3-7.
Fruit sucked ass though. He lost to Georgia State. He should have been fired after
Wallace,
that.
Man,
shout out Trey
gifts.
Wallace.
Yeah,
greatest coworker I've ever had.
The GOAT.
Absolute legend.
Oh my God, that went way off. Wow.
I want to touch on something though. I really am glad that all 4 of the guys did get the awards they did. I think Vescovi, he had one that was academic too, on top of everything that he's doing on the court. So pretty big, just coming in, doing his part on and off the court. But Zakai, getting that defensive, I think there was some kind of stat. He's one of the first freshmen to win defensive or something like that for Tennessee in a long, long time. So, be a true freshman, a guy that's supposed to be a senior in high school and everything else going on. It's just crazy to see. He's still got 4 more years. You got Kennedy Chandler if he comes back next year. And then in 2023, you have a top 5 point guard in BJ Edwards, who just in his tournament this weekend as a high schooler, he had a broken foot and averaged a double-double. So we're getting a star in that kid. It's just the guard play, it's gone from non-existent to being a key factor in the Rick Barnes.
Hey, BJ reminds me a lot of Jordan Bowden because he is super athletic from that guard position. So I can't wait to see what he's going to do in a Rick Barnes offense that predicates on ball movement and hard cuts, and can't wait to see that first backdoor that he gets and just dunks on somebody, honestly.
Man, we've came a long ways from Devontae Gaines. That's incredible. So,
oh yeah, and DJ.
Shout
Burns.
out Devontae though. He's doing well over there. I think at George
DJ
Mason.
Burns
was that? Oh, there you go.
Winthrop got smoked last night.
Gaines is at George Mason.
That's it.
That's where he's at.
I thought it was George. He was one of those George schools, like George Washington and George Mason. They're all the same. So
George in English, baby.
Dang, I didn't even. We had so many people go out and so many people come in. It's just kind of bizarre, and I'm sure that'll be the case from now until forever with all this NIL and transfer stuff going on.
Yeah.
I we have anything else for SEC tournament? I don't know what else more we can go into. We like our bracket. We just got to see.
I just hope we can get the job done. I'm not, going up high hope, but there's, Vols fans decades older than me that have never seen one in their lifetime. I've never seen one in my lifetime, but it would be a glory to see. I feel like we have the best team right now and the best bracket that we could have going into an environment where like a lot of teams, it's not going to be like, an advantage fan wise. It's just guys going in there to play basketball and compete. So if we can compete, go out there and win and, play Rick Barnes basketball, I think that might be the first time it comes key in winning a tournament. Just play how you want, you're, taught to play, go out there and play and just win.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to not lay an egg in the first round that we play, because that I believe will affect our seeding in the tournament. But if we win that one like we should pretty confidently, and then we go and lose a heartbreaker to Kentucky, I feel like we're still pretty solidified in the spot that we're in. You don't think, Brendo?
We're gonna send them back to the coal mine, buddy.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna spend their PPP loans to go to Tampa, Florida. Go back to Kentucky, have to work in that coal mine to pay the government.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But if on the off chance that hell freezes over and we lose to Kentucky, then I say that we still are pretty firm in the either like a lower 2 or high 3 seed. And as long as we don't encroach that 4 or 5 spot, I am perfectly fine. We got a taste of that 5 seed last year, and I don't want another one ever again. No. But we also caught an Oregon State team that was hotter than hot, so whatever to that. But again, I just want to stay in that 2 to 3 range, and that's the biggest thing for me is just show up, play how we're supposed to play in the tournament, and if we lose, which I don't want us to, obviously, it'll be okay as long as we hold pat in the big tournament. So,
yeah, I mean, great seed, 2 seed in the SEC tournament. I think we could all be happy about that. Favorable matchup, and just don't forget, Urosha's getting a double-double against Kentucky on Saturday.
We're gonna send him back.
Yeah, back to the coal mines. The old Serbian will send him back to the coal mines. So
real quick, Alex just touched on it before we move on to like the visitors and recruiting and stuff. You just mentioned a 2 or 3 seed. Do you think that if we lose to Kentucky in like a blowout in the SEC tournament, that would drop us to a 4 or 5, anyone or everyone?
From what I've seen right now, we're 3 on the top 2 guys seeding right now, and I think 4 on like 1. I think if we did lose, take care of business against the team we're supposed to beat, and then lose to Kentucky, if that does happen, which it's probably not going to happen, but if it does happen, I can see it being 4 seed at worst. I feel like Tennessee has a lot of ranked wins. You've beaten the 4 of the top 5, 3 of the top 5 right now. Arizona, Kentucky, Auburn. So your resume is as good as anyone else's. You're undefeated at home. You play good basketball, have one of the best defenses. There's no reason just because you lost to Kentucky in the SEC tournament that you should drop in seeding, in my opinion. So I would hope not, but 3 or 4 seed where we're at right now in the region we're at right now, I would prefer either or. I like the region we're in right now, but anything can change going into the March Madness. So
yeah. So I mean, currently sitting at what, ranked number 9 in the country, I think.
Yeah, we're 9th in the AP.
Perfect. So essentially, we're the best 3 seed right now. So like you said, Brando, I don't think you can penalize a team for losing one game pretty bad, just as an anomaly after a whole season's of work. So I think if we do lose, that we're fine. If anything happens, we may drop down to the best 4 seed. So we would be the highest 4 seed. So we would draw the worst 13 seed, which again I still don't like, but I would be a lot more okay with that than getting into the 5 range.
That's probably Chattanooga. I'm not trying to play the Mocs.
Shoot,
they're hot.
No,
they're hot.
Hell
no.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I don't want to play any 13 seed.
No, that's when you get in dangerous territory. But I think we're fine, and it will especially be fine if we just take care of business. Honestly, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think even if we lose on Friday, we're still locked in as a 3 seed. I mean, you got to remember that like we beat Arizona, Kentucky, Auburn, and Arkansas all this year. I mean, there's not many teams out there that beaten 3 of the top 5, top 10 teams out there. or even 4 top 15 teams for that matter. And we don't have a bad loss either, which
Our worst loss is Alabama, and that was because Kennedy Chandler and Folky were out. We had 3 outs because of COVID, which I was going to touch on. I wonder how they'll judge on COVID losses, being a full roster loss, or, what kind of happened, who was out, if you were out Kennedy Chandler without, your 3-star players, how they affect that loss. But if not, our worst loss is against Arkansas in Arkansas, and that's, an away game against a team that went undefeated at home too. So
yeah, so I think regardless, 3 seed in there, if you win Saturday, or if it's a close game even on Saturday, if we lose, I think you could argue that last 2 seed spot. But I think either way, we're more than set for this tournament.
Okay, good. You guys make me feel a little bit better because I was kind of concerned about that. But of course, we never know until we see what the hell happens. We can always be surprised. I don't know. Nico, are we going to Nico's?
Yeah, I was gonna give a little shout out to the BaseVols. They're currently battling it out in game 2 with James Madison. They just finished up game 1 today, won 8-7 in 10 innings. Still undefeated, still playing really good baseball. They had the classic over the weekend, over the last week, when they lost to Texas, but they beat Baylor in Oklahoma. So, bad L against the number 1 team in the country, but you came back and smacked 2 ranked opponents in the Big 12. So good wins. I felt like everyone was dominant, playing in a major league park and hitting how well they did. I just feel like the bats are getting hot. If the game was in Lindsey Nelson, I feel like Tennessee gets a lot more home runs than they did, and those games could have been different against Texas or something. But not much you can do when you're playing in a tournament like that. Just like we kind of mentioned with basketball, have to go there and compete. But just kind of proud with how they're playing. Not undefeated, lost to Texas, so I'm gonna fix myself there. But other than that, really happy for the BaseVols. Waiting for conference play. I think the tickets are already almost like sold out, which is insane. So absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just ready for conference play and how people get rowdy when spring rolls around. So
yeah, you basically touched on everything I was going to touch on. That we lost to North Mexico U, but then responded against Oklahoma. So you love to see that. A good bounce back win, shutout win actually. And then I saw a couple of pitchers touch 100, and it seems like every day I get on Twitter, I scroll through and I always see another graphic of Chase Burns hit 103 or something like that, like consistently. I'm
Joyce,
like, man, them boys throwing cash. But
UCLA lined up to take pictures of Ben Joyce out of the dugout. Yeah, to go during the tournament. They went to go take pictures of Ben Joyce and take pictures of him while he was there. It's funny.
Wild. That's wild.
That's freaking funny. I love that.
But speaking of home runs, they've actually the BaseVols did not have hit 7 this game. They hit 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Yep. So they're now leading 10-2 as of my most current update. That was 3 minutes ago. But them boys cranking out home runs, cranking out hits, cranking out runs left and right. Their 3 hottest hitters right now: Jared Dickey batting .552, 16 hits, 2 homers. Drew Gilbert, 500, 14 hits and a home run. And then Trey Lipscomb, 409, 18 hits and 5 home runs. I mean, there's nothing else you could want from your team. Honestly, at this point in the season, they playing like a midseason team. So I hope they keep progressing and they keep those bats hot and keep the pitching hot too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a good showing in Houston last weekend. Scored 20 runs in 3 games. I think that's more than any of us could ask for, especially considering the competition they were playing. Man, and I know we lost Friday, but dude, Chase Burns threw 10 strikeouts against the best team in the country. Texas is a legitimate team that could win a College World Series this year.
Again, yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable, especially for a freshman, man. It's crazy. And then, you got Joyce over there that's throwing a 101 mile an hour sinker, which I don't even know if there's a player even in the MLB that could hit something like 101 sinker, so. The bullpen, I would argue the bullpen's the best it's ever been under Vitella with the amount of talent and depth that we have, not just from the starting rotation, but from the relievers as well. And, dude, I mean, that home run that Jordan Beck had on Sunday against Oklahoma.
Oh, my God.
Destroyed that ball. Oh, my God. Beautiful. Beautiful. But, yeah, man, shout out to the Diamond Vols, killing it. So, baseball school.
I love it. So speaking of of that, we have tickets to give away for the March 11th game, which is this Friday.
March
Yes.
11th. Yes.
Correct.
We do. Let me someone else talk about something. I've got to see how many I have. Then
I
come
guess
back.
just with the baseballs, talking about Chase Burns, I guess Coach V kind of touched on that he took him out too early. He was kind of thriving, gave up that one home run, but his biggest regret was taking Chase Burns out, which led to an inning where Texas got 4 runs. So, you live and you learn, not much you can do about it now, take the L, get ready for the next season. But now you know what you got in Chase Burns as a pitcher. You can trust him and that he's ready for that kind of stride, even though he's a true freshman. You can go out there and take the heat and take the moment. So really excited that we have a pitcher like that. Our pitching core, I would agree, is at the best, and it's not even at 100% right now. We still, missing 2 guys. So get those guys in there, and it can be a really lethal rotation. So really, really happy with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, you still got Blake Tidwell that's potentially going to come during, around conference play or so, which will be huge. But I mean, dude, the fact that we're averaging 8-9 runs a game is just absolutely incredible, But not to switch topics on you, but Brandon, I have to ask you this real quick. I mean, like,
Ask me.
new uniforms, football. What's the rumor about that? What's the groomer? I heard Nico.
You heard Nico.
Don't bring those up. Don't bring those up.
Listen.
So hyped.
I don't want to be that guy that says it and gets like everyone like pissed that I said it. But I'm just saying, everyone knows that we had the dark mode jerseys and had the helmets, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, why don't we have black helmets? Well, why is it a white helmet with a black outline and not black?" Well, hey, you might get your wish next year. That's all I can say. And then on top of that, a lot of guys maybe have missed some certain gray jerseys that were long gone, and everyone's been wanting some chromeness to go around the facility. Maybe on the headgear. So maybe a little new headgear. But other than that, mouth to shut. But hey,
Drew dropped
a little orange chrome helmet, that'd be nice. A little silver with a orange tee.
Hey, put the mountains back on my helmet. I love that. I tell you what, them Smoky Gray helmets did something.
A chrome tee helmet with Smoky Mountains on it, beautiful.
I cannot wait to see the old timers on the Vol for Life Facebook group get so pissed off.
And you gotta remember that these will be with Nike, so like Nike's gonna go all out with them. Like there's no telling like the little designs they'll have, what new patches they'll have on them. Like it's gonna look absolutely filthy. Not confirmed, but pretty much confirmed it's gonna happen.
Beautiful.
Pretty much. So really hype about the jerseys. Everyone's gonna be sick. Pray for Dixie Fieldhouse on Twitter. That man's gonna be sick.
Cannot wait.
But other than that,
honestly, I think everyone probably has Dixie Fieldhouse blocked by now. He won't even make an impact.
Him and Vols picks.
Yeah.
I got
accounts on Twitter.
I got blocked by Vols picks.
I think they're the same person.
Yeah. I don't know if it was on my account or the ATB account. One of the two were blocked by Vols. I don't know who went at him, but yeah.
Hey, all right. So this is kind of fun. I think we should do it this way. So I have 5 tickets to give away for Friday's baseball game this Friday. So the code word is going to be Vitello. So what we're going to do is anyone who hears the code word has to comment it under the tweet that's announcing this giveaway. And then we'll choose all of these people tomorrow. So if they figure out the code word or whatever, then that's good, and that's your entry this time.
Sheesh.
You're just gonna go in order of
those
reply?
Poor Spotify users.
Do what?
Are you just gonna go in order of replies? Like you just gonna go down the list? Like, oh, you first? Okay, I like that.
I said the poor Spotify users. Hopefully we can get the episode up tonight.
They're gonna be sick.
I know. So if you made it this far,
at Ronnie,
then I'll tweet after this thing, and I'll ask for a code word. So that's how we'll do it this time. 5 tickets, 1 to 5 people. So I like it that way. All right. Anything else? I missed the uniform conversation, but I had to go back in my email and find how many tickets I had.
Black helmets for the all black jerseys, new smoky gray jerseys with orange chrome helmets. Maybe some new cleats, some orange cleat. That'd be sick. But other than that, I guess we can hop into the football weekend since Drew kind of hinted at Nico saying it. This is my favorite time of the show. Okay, cool. All right.
You sitting up for it?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so touching into some Tennessee football, the Volunteers, they landed their second transfer of the year in Wesley Walker, safety out of Innsworth High School originally in Nashville, Tennessee. He currently played at Georgia Tech, has 3 years of eligibility left. So, nice safety addition to the team. Really good, after losing Theo, losing the veteran guy, and then I wasn't too confident with Warren Burrell back there, and I don't think anyone was. So to have a good guy come in and step up. He's also the stepbrother of Malval, Tyler Barron. So a little family connection, a guy that probably wanted to play for Tennessee, but the last admin and last staff was probably like, nah, had some kind of new problem that was a stupid excuse to not take in-state talent, but finally ends up back in Tennessee. Really glad to see that. And then also they got their fourth 2023 commit and Nate Spillman, a 3-star wide receiver from Lipscomb, brother of another Spillman brother who's a 5-star linebacker at Lipscomb. It's kind of setting Tennessee up nice to like a trio at Lipscomb right now, Lipscomb Academy, with Nate, his brother, and then Caleb Beasley, who's a 5-star corner. So if the Vols can land all three, that'd be like a huge in-state get, like way bigger than the Memphis one we got a few years ago. But leading into the junior day, we hosted 5-star quarterback, number 3 player in the nation, Nico Iamaleava, and his best friend Jordan Anderson, who's now just been opened up, ranked as the 51st player in the 2024 class. So not only are you getting a number 3 player in the nation if this man commits, but you have a best friend connect that's also now ranked the 51st player in the country in his class, maybe like a top 5 receiver. Basically, Tennessee hit this weekend out of the park, all angles on Nico. They went all in, especially on Nico. Having the "We Want Nico" chant. Sitting down with the staff. Everyone else came in for a 2-day visit, but Nico and his family were here for about 4 or 5 days. So getting the extra time with that big of a recruit that you're definitely after is like huge. Went and saw some softball games because his family connect there. Saw the basketball game and got the chant "We Want Nico" after it was, started by some pages, aka me, but we're not gonna talk about that. But it led to his mom kind of crying and feeling all the love with Tennessee. And his last time he came here for the Ole Miss game, it was just him, his dad, his quarterback coach, his uncle, and his brother. This time he brought his mom, his aunt, his uncle, like all of his family. So went around, looking at the area, seeing if it could be a good fit for him. I told y'all some things that he was doing out there. So, really good to have this kind of player. I think Tennessee took the lead in this visit. Oregon, he had a crystal ball for him, but Wilt Fong said that was kind of just off the field. But after this visit already, Chad Simmons at On 3, the lead recruiter, he's put a crystal ball in for Nico to Tennessee. I know we all feed into our crystal balls, but can't panic for a 5-star recruit like that. But obviously, they hit it out the park from all with the visit with the family to NIL and the visit picture that went around. This kid was in a freaking Benz truck over there with Coach Hype, Golish, and Hazel. Tennessee's doing everything they can. I didn't think I'd see the day we pull out a freaking Benz truck, and everyone that's been complaining about NIL, it's kind of finally here. So I feel like they're doing everything right. What's y'all's thoughts on the Nico part of the visit?
Hey, I'm here for whatever you tell me. I'm listening, like licking my fingers, just excited at the idea that he might come, because all I've heard is that he is a program changer, and I mean everybody knows that. I mean most positions are important in football, but there really ain't one more important than the quarterback position. You kind of live and die by your quarterback, so we kind of died by one for a few years a little bit ago, but that's okay. But if we get somebody like him. I think you was texting about this in the chat earlier, Brando. It was like you get somebody like him, that instantly turns up your recruiting. So across the board, you're gonna see receivers, you're gonna see running backs, you'll see linemen be like, oh man, like there's that guy. Like I want to be on his team. Like I know that he can lead a team, he can win. So like I want to join that. And hey, I've learned to stop doubting Heupel when he's got his Cruton shoes on, so he can do whatever he wants. He can pull out a bench truck. He can join in on them chants that you starting. I wanted to hear about those two, by the way, just in a little bit. But the we want Nico chants. But yeah, I mean, Heupel's doing things, and if he plays his cards right, it looks like he can get him. So, but I wanted to hear about how that chant was in TBA for Brando and Lowe.
I wasn't there personally, but I basically just said on Instagram before the game, I was like, first media timeout, we're gonna chant "We want Nico" because I'd got word that he was gonna be at the game early. I got shared by a bunch of pages and some guys at Spire with Mr. Badur. So had some friends that were there, got to get the thing started. Everyone joined in, and it ended up turning out to be a big moment. Like it kind of went viral on Vol Twitter. I saw like one post had like 1,300 likes. Like it's no secret that everyone on Vol Twitter is kind of buying into, getting this kind of quarterback and understanding what's at stake. Like, it's not dramatic to say that this kid could be a reason that Tennessee gets back to what it wants to be in football. It's literally not, especially if you have a best friend of him that's, pretty much like a package deal. It's the number 51 receiver, and how Alex touched on it. You have Carnell Tate, other receivers that are going to want to buy in. So just talk about a guy that's going to come in automatically as a freshman and just change everything just from being there. Insane. But I don't know how it was in the stadium. From the videos, though, that I saw, it was pretty loud.
Well, here's the thing. So I was on the opposite end of the student section, but the videos that I saw were it was super loud. I just couldn't hear it. I couldn't recall. Another thing that was interesting was, I don't know if anyone else noticed who was present at the Auburn game, but Sterl the Pearl missed so many F-bombs in all of his DJing. Oh my God.
Man, I was glad I was not the only one that heard that either.
It was like, fuck that shit, get out of your mind. I swear to God, blaring. So this Arkansas game, I could hardly hear shit. It was like he got banned from playing anything. So it was kind of just an odd day, but yeah, you were not the only one, because he forgot in a bunch of songs. But I didn't hear it, but I was far away. But I thought it was cool, and the Rock was cool, and Nico was posting all over. I'll say he seemed genuinely interested and he had a good time. Some of these recruits just try to troll just for shits and giggles, but that was obviously not the case with him. So,
yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, it was a really successful visit. Obviously the "We Want Nico" chant was there. Even the Tennessee Theater had a welcome message to Nico and his family when they arrived on Thursday. And from what I've heard, it's he wants to be at a program where he can, where he has that family feel to it, and wants to change things around. And honestly, I mean, when's the last time that we've gotten really this hyped over a quarterback prospect out of high school? I genuinely, I can't remember. I mean, it may have been, I mean, I really don't. Maybe Tyler Bray. I mean, maybe him, but even then, it's not even that big, But yeah, it's what Alex said. He's a total program changer. He literally reminds me a lot of Marcus Mariota, and it's a domino effect. If he commits, from what I've seen, On3 Sports has us as the favorites right now to land Nico. I don't know how legitimate they are, but they have us the favorites over Oregon and Alabama and Georgia. I mean, if you land someone like him, it's going to be a domino effect in the sense of that you're going to get other 4- and 5-star prospects follow through. And, we'll genuinely see. I mean, I hate to say, I will never thought ever would say it in my life, but Tennessee actually be back. So.
That's what exactly, yeah.
Woo!
Another little nugget about him. He was expected to go to Georgia the next week for this upcoming weekend or next weekend, but the weather's looking kind of nasty, so Georgia's repostponed his visit. But that's not going to be able to happen for another couple months because of spring practice and everything else. You can't just bring guys on campus like that. So I think that's really key in this recruitment. Only being able to see Tennessee and Oregon, and for a guy that wants to do something before March or early April, that's a guy that's going to try to decide quick. And I feel if you had a visit that just blew him away, maybe he's hey, it's going to be a while before I can go see these schools. I know Tennessee. What's at Tennessee? Let me go ahead and make this thing. And maybe that's why the director of recruiting and the Tennessee's director of scouting put their crystal balls in. But, obviously they know something we don't that happened on the visit. So on top of that, go ahead.
What about the G-Wagon? That picture.
Oh,
my God.
That's one of the coolest. That's probably the coolest recruiting picture I've ever seen. Not just being Tennessee bias and orange glasses. Like, you're in the tunnels of Neyland, the national championship banner hanging right behind you, and you're over there throwing up the VFL with both hands, hanging out the roof with Coach Hype driving the G-Wagon. Like, that just shows you they're not trying to do anything to miss on this visit. They went all out, and it's true. They did everything they can. Absolutely insane. We've been wanting to compete, and, to finally have people buy in and, throw a freaking G-Wagon out there for us to use. I think, says we're taking it pretty dang serious.
I love it. I fully agree. I just think there's something about Heupel that just like cracks me up. Like every photo I see him in, he's just like so
I think he's more modernized and chill to this era and generation than people think he is, just because like he's an older quarterback. Like him as a player, on top of being a brand new coach and only being a coach for 5 years, like this kind of recruiting, like he's used to it, even though he hasn't recruited the top talent. But the genuality that he has as a coach, on top of knowing what he does and like proving it works, like he just goes out there and he can feel himself again now. So I feel like that's kind of key. He's just out there vibing.
He really does just look like he always having a good time. Like he truly looked like he just enjoying himself when
lost
when
a little bit
campus,
of weight.
Honestly, yeah. Hey, the first UT coach to come be our coach and drop some pounds.
Yeah, not gaining cornbread.
Everybody else leave like a busted can of biscuits, but that's okay.
Little random thought, but could you imagine like Pruitt trying to recruit Nico? Like I could just imagine him.
I think you're fast and your arm's strong.
I can imagine him bringing out his F-150 through like the locker, like through that photo. Be like, all right, Nico, let's get on the tailgate here and take this photo real quick. All right,
you're gonna come to my house to the pool party. Coach, is there asparagus? What is that?
Hey, you gotta try this.
All right, we're going to play some Alabama now. Get hot for me, Nico, okay?
You know Dixieland Delight?
Okay, about Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So much cooler and just more cultured, or at least to me. Like, hell, I even got to meet the guy for a split second in Kentucky when I made that.
Heupel, yeah. He said, the video where he posed for the photo.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff.
Yeah.
Man. All right.
I guess I was just gonna say, besides, I know we're all bought in on Nico, but other on the football visit, you also had commits Ethan Davis and Jack Luttrell, which was key, getting them back on campus. I think that was key when you have those two guys that are going to be, high 4 stars. Ethan Davis is a top 5 tight end that's getting like Miami and Ohio State offers by the day. So having him locked in, getting him back on campus. They also hosted Christian Conyer, who was a DB, 4-star DB, picking between Tennessee, Kentucky. Justin Brown, a 4-star receiver from Blackman High School, probably going to make a decision soon. And then Jeremiah Thielander, he's a linebacker. I think that's probably going to be our next commit, probably in the next week or two. They also had Tamarian Parker, who's a 4-star defensive lineman, top 25 player in the country. Could definitely be a Rodney Garner guy. He lives in Alabama, but was born in Knoxville. So I think they're trying to kick the tires there. And then to talk about the offense and the whole explosion effect, they hosted Jeremiah Cobb, Trayon Webb, and Deshaun Bishop, all 4-star running backs, all tip 15 running backs. So everyone we're scouting right now is like top of the top talent. It's not like last year when they first came in and we're like, all right, does this guy fit our system? We won't look at the ranking. Like, these guys are top of the top talent that are buying into what we're doing offensively. And I think that's playing a big part this class and for future classes. Other than that, I'm done.
Okay, yeah. Brando always kills it with all this recruiting shit.
I can do the football.
Oh, my God. Like, I'm always speechless. You do such a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we want Nico. That's all I know.
Yeah, we want Nico. Next, I don't know if anyone heard me in the beginning of the show, so I'll reiterate it now. It's Aiden, right?
Aiden Bussell, yeah.
Aiden Bussell, 2023 commit. is still coming on the show. It was not canceled. It is just postponed because he had something come up. So make sure next week to tune in because that should be really fun. First time for us to have like an actual upcoming recruit coming on the pod. So
Facts. And then we'll be in the middle of March Madness too. So
oh God, I can't wait.
And you can follow him on Twitter at the same thing, Aiden Bussell. Is that how you say it? Bussell?
Yeah, Bussell, I think. Yeah.
Bussell. AYDENBUSSELL. Help build the brand.
Perfect.
Sir.
All right. Anyone have any last thoughts?
Well,
I guess I do.
Oh, he has the gritty on the camera. Oh my God.
God, terrible.
Tamba.
Terrible.
This is so embarrassing.
Gritty and like Tamba.
Oh my God.
This is so embarrassing. Hey.
Oh my God.
my
This man just grittied
Is this
on.
why he chose this area to film tonight?
It looks like he's in a school locker room.
That's so embarrassing. I apologize.
Alex, where are you at right now?
This is my school building actually.
So the school cameras, whoever's like the security guard just saw you gritty on camera?
Oh, more than likely, yeah.
Oh Lord!
Part of my tuition.
Call down. That was really embarrassing.
No, I'm gonna hurry and leave in a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely.
They can't get me if I run.
That's a clip right there for the Twitter Spaces.
That'll probably be a GIF in a minute.
All right. Well, I'm good. I just wanted to make sure. I know some people already saw it, but that giveaway is first come, first serve. So drop the code word. The first 5 people are going to Friday night's game against Rhode Island for the BaseVols 6:30. And I think this might be the last tickets to give away. I'm not sure, but I will let everyone know. So without anyone other, anything else?
I have
Euros double.
Euros
that-
double. We're
that
sending him back.
extremely
Saturday.
scorching hot
We're
take.
sending him back to the freaking coal mines.
But hey, guess what we did?
What we do?
Made it through a whole show, no technical difficulties.
Oh hell yeah!
We did lose the background at one point, but I really don't. That doesn't even matter. That does not compare to the other things we've dealt with. So shout out to us
somewhere.
too.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just bad luck to not have everyone on at the same time.
It's true.
You heard it here first. Oh man, I just had to say that. That's it.
Oh yeah. Thank the internet gods for not preying on my downfall. There's the background too.
There you go.
Right at the end, baby. Right at the end.
Right at the end. All right. Well, looking forward to the SEC tournament this weekend. We'll have a lot to cover next week. So until then, good night and go Vols.
You're well,
Balls, baby.
Balls.